Welcome to the 2017 CRN Impact Awards, celebrating Australian IT projects that have made a real impact on customer organisations. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The awards presentation is about to start. To commence proceedings, please welcome to the stage CRN Editorial Director, Stephen Kiernan.
I'm delighted to be involved in the CRN Impact Awards because it recognises one of the fastest growing components of the economy, which is technology employment. And as we look to the jobs of the future, they're going to come from the organisations that we've been judging here today.
I think the purpose of the awards is really, really important. We need to get everyone through the value chain focused on what the ultimate outcome is for the business, because ultimately that's the outcome for our economy.
So the entries that really stood out did three things really well. They connected suppliers, systems integrators, and customers. So making sure all three of those line up behind a customer outcome was really critical. But what differentiated the good applications from the great applications were those who were focused on the customer's customer.
As an industry, we are talking a lot about moving away from product delivery, about customer centricity becoming really about the outcome for the customer, not how much they like the product. These awards, I think, are absolutely critical in that, because we need to recognise the companies that actually make that transition successfully and that do it beyond the sales cycle and really take it into implementation and service delivery.
I think sometimes this industry can get a little bit, excited about technology for technology's sake and forget that it's actually about customer outcomes that need to be, defined and delivered and reinforced.
People were picking suppliers that they trusted and continued journeys with them. So it was really nice to see that effort into relationships and continually delivering was rewarded.
I think that we have some fantastic companies doing some really leading edge stuff, that can go to other places and go global. So business outcomes are, what it's all about.
The relationship between the vendors, between the solution providers or integrators and the customers, all three of those people are very, very important to enable that and to ensure that the right projects are actually happening.
I found some of the entries were great role models for other companies in the industry, and that they tell a really great story about the success of how you can use technology and how you can also transform a business.
I think the diversity of the judges panel is exceptional. So you've got a great diversity around there with people with strong technical backgrounds, end user customer, people who work in the middle. So I think that's a great indication of the awards to start with.
When you look at the emerging technologies in our industries, and we have companies that need to look at cost cutting, how they need to change and adapt to the new markets. We're looking at how, through technology, we can modernise those processes. So one of the categories that we're looking at is, how it's not just an upgrade, how they actually change the way their business worked. And that was one of the areas we focused on in the judging process.
It's around recognising our companies, larger and smaller, and some of the really innovative projects that they're doing. The Impact Awards really highlights that sort of work and what we're doing. I think it's wonderful. Should be more of it.
Optimising investments mid-range. The three finalists for this award are OBT, which empowered staff at Eureka Funds Management to communicate and work securely from anywhere using Microsoft technology. QPC, which delivered a call centre infrastructure upgrade using interactive intelligence technology for customer police health. And UXC Connect, which worked with client Accor Hotels to move to a cloud communications platform based on Alcatel-Lucent Enterprise. Optimising Investments Enterprise. The three finalists for this award are Professional Data Kinetics, which helped its client, Shoreway Employment and Training, to expand its communications and optimise network resources using technology from Huawei and AAPT. Silverfern IT, for its IT managed services contract for Perth Mint, a $9 billion company that provides gold, silver and platinum services. And Nexon, which upgraded financial services company IOOF from Microsoft Link to Skype for Business and replaced its Cisco call center system with technology from Voxtron.
When you look at the vendors and the way you would just judge in the past when you do awards, it's just based on vendors and revenue. This is actually based on something making a change to the market and to a business, and not necessarily to a vendor. So it's important that the customer gets an outcome with a partner.
I think now the technology's moved on and evolved, and there's a lot of innovation. And I think with that innovation, and driven by things like mobility and driven by Internet of Things and big data, technology now is an enabler for a customer outcome.
It's really why we get up in the morning, and we can talk about technology and the cool techie stuff all we like, but technology is more affordable than it's ever been, and it enables us to help businesses to do great things, and that's where the real power is.
And I think anything that you do now in technology that isn't focused around what you can do for the customer and what the customer can gain and benefit out of it is something that, that really the customers are starting to look through now and say, that's not something I want to invest in.
Modernising Infrastructure, Mid-Range. There are 5 finalists for this award. Base to Services, which migrated music streaming and internet radio company Tuned Global to Amazon Web Services. Intuit Technologies, a Tasmanian IT provider that installed Dell EMC technology to help pioneering Australian salmon farm Tassal move toward IoT. Accucom, who worked with Barker College to deliver a complete wireless network upgrade using HPE Aruba technology in just 2 weeks. Trident Computer Services, which brought natural resources and mining company Vale Australia back from the public cloud using hyperconverged technology from HPE SimpliVity. And Venn IT Solutions for its work with CoreLogic to take Commvault backup to the AWS cloud. Modernising Infrastructure, Enterprise. There are 4 finalists for this award. They are Kinetic IT, which upgraded and redesigned infrastructure in 780 schools across Western Australia for the Department of Education WA. VoIP, for its infrastructure modernisation project across Southwest Sydney Local Health District using technology from Alcatel-Lucent Enterprise. CSA, which partnered with Life Without Barriers to roll out device as a service based on HP technology to more than 300 locations Australia-wide. And Fabric Group, for its work helping Australia Post move away from traditional on-premises hardware and consolidate its data centre footprint using Amazon Web Services.
Now, I guess what we looked at as judges was not just the physical project, it was also the IP, or what other solution was wrapped in to the technology and how the clients were managed. So, key areas for us.
And the other thing that was really important that came out as well is how many of these resellers, these partners, are creating intellectual property and co-creating with their customers. And this is definitely something we've spoken a lot about, and it's something that partners should be aware of, that they're not just creating a project or meeting an immediate need, but what kind of product are they creating that they can then resell further down the track.
IP product and platform innovation. The 5 finalists for this award are WiseSync, which rounds out the integration between ConnectWise and cloud accounting platforms such as Xero and QuickBooks Online. Access 4, a tool designed and built for partners and customers to manage BroadSoft unified communication services. NetCrypt, a security product to protect against data loss or theft from insider actors, ransomware and hacking. eNerd's CryptoShield, a software as a service solution based on semantic and webroot for detection and prevention of ransomware. And Bright Systems' BrightFlow, which runs complex queries and big data analysis workloads on AWS and has worked with customers including Vocus, ANZ Bank and Under Armour.
Working together was a really important category because we don't recognise enough what happens when you lean on another peer or a supplier in the industry to achieve something that's a little bit outside of what you feel comfortable doing.
These days it's hard to find one organisation that can do everything end to end. And if you could, you probably wouldn't be in the best position to do all that well. You've got to be able to rely on other people in the industry, other systems, other companies, between the vendors and your partners, and it's really about pulling all that together to deliver the outcome.
I just want to emphasise how important it is that the relationship between the suppliers and the IT implementers, the people that are actually doing the work, just extends beyond more than just a licensing deal. It really is that partnership in delivering the services to get the great outcomes that's really important.
The entries have always had partners involved, technology partners, integration partners, clients, project management. And again, part of the success story is how they came together to deliver to the outcomes that the project we're going for, and how that integration effort was successful in the end.
Working together. The 3 finalists for this award are Cloud Plus and Surety IT, which work together as part of a 5-year managed ICT contract with Chesterfield, Australia. Calibre One and Telstra, who partnered to transition client NTPHN from legacy cloud to Telstra's CSX Gen 2 infrastructure as a service. And B2 Cloud and Vodafone Foundation, which created DreamLab, Australia's first smartphone supercomputer that speeds up cancer research for the Garvan Institute of Medical Research. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the final awards of the evening. Please return to your seats and get ready to celebrate 3 more CRN Impact Award winners for 2017. Here's your host, CRN Editorial Director, Stephen Kiernan.
When I was looking at judging the awards, one of the things I was always looking at is if this project was put in front of a chief finance officer or a CEO, would it pass the test? Should they invest in technology versus anything else? One of the things our industry can learn a lot from is how to create proposals that summarize business value rather than technology upgrades.
You've got to start at the end. If there's not a business outcome, why would you do it? And I think that's one of the key takeaways from this year is that the projects that were strongest with the judges were the ones that very clearly enunciated why they were there in the first place.
While the technology is really interesting and some are more complex than others, what's the outcome for the customer and what's the impact of that is really the lens that I was putting on it.
Customer experience. There are 5 finalists for this award. Dias Computing, which worked with customer REA Group to develop Australia's first virtual reality property app using technology from Google and Amazon Web Services. Base2 Services, which consolidated alerts and notifications for Emergency Management Victoria to foster safer communities. Outware Mobile, for the development of iOS and Android apps that created engaging online and in-store experiences for Officeworks. Levo, who worked with the company behind the iconic Sydney Royal Easter Show on a new cloud-based digital platform hosted on Microsoft Azure using technology from Episerver. And Kyandra IT, for transforming the user experience at Remasys, an enterprise IT monitoring system.
There were two projects that really stood out. One was a simple backup strategy that would in fact save a small company significant amounts should they be a target of cyber attack. So it shows that you don't have to spend a lot of money and you don't have to make great investments in people or processes to be able to get the protection you need. The other project that really stood out was a very large utility project where we're finally starting to see technology integration to protect critical infrastructure, which I'm a big supporter of.
This is an area that every business, every organization absolutely has to have a laser-like focus on. Sadly, many don't, often to their detriment, and they lose brand, they lose reputation, they lose staff, customers, and it often winds up in the courts and in tears. So trusted systems need to be baked in to every solution right at the start.
I can see the industry moving more towards sharing risk and sharing the outcome for both the supplier and the end user or the customer. I think that's an important shift that the technology space needs to adopt.
Trusted systems. The 5 finalists for this award are Geek, whose simple but effective Datto business continuity solution for civil contractors Federation SA saved its client from CryptoLocker. Sententia, which implemented strong gateway defences for Fredon, protecting against malicious traffic using checkpoint software technologies. UXC Connect, which upgraded the common wide area network at Melbourne Water to protect both IT and industrial networks using technology from Cisco, Citrix and Microsoft. SecureWare, who worked with Catholic Education South Australia to consolidate more than 100 disparate endpoint security management systems and move to McAfee. And PowerNet Group, for its project with Ventura Bus Lines to upgrade data centre infrastructure and relocate all critical systems based around technology from Datto and Fujitsu.
I mean, I personally like the workforce, management. In how that whole sector evolves. I mean, how your actual workforce out there in the field does their job. There's such disruption, and people are going to really have to understand how they engage, help those people complete their jobs.
But the ones that really stood out to me are the ones who used technology in very simple scenarios. They were automating paper-based scenarios into technology. So that was one of the first things that stood out. The other ones that stood out to me were the ones that had very, very, very big constraints. We make an assumption today that the internet is accessible to everybody, and some of the submissions who are working in low bandwidth or no bandwidth environments with mobile workforce applications, they really stood out because they had to use some imagination to make a difference for their customers.
It takes into account the fact that you and I and everyone else out there has to get a job done in a set number of hours as efficiently and as effectively as possible. And quite often, rather than our technology helping us, it actually stands in the way of getting the work done.
Workforce empowerment. Calibre 1 for delivering reliable connectivity across regional Northern Territory for client Halkidis, based on Telstra and Cisco technology. Tequila ANZ, which created a new mobile application for Tyrrell's property inspections built on Salesforce. Artist Group, for developing a Microsoft Dynamics 365 sales, marketing and field services cloud solution for Zen Energy. SMB Consultants, bringing together technology from Vend, Xero and Deputy to transform Fresh Flowers Group from its old manual system to cloud point of sale, accounting and payroll. Thomas Diure Logicalis, for a comprehensive workplace transformation at top 20 Australian law firm Maddox. And Communet, which worked with one of Australia's largest fruit and vegetable producers, Costa Group, to build a customised harvest management solution. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you're enjoying your dinner. Please return to your seats as we welcome back to the stage CRN Editorial Director Stephen Kiernan.
It's very important to recognise the transformational work that the channel does. It's often forgotten when you see IT that there was actually often a partner sitting behind that was driving it in concert with the customer.
I think what stands out is some of the really complex things that some of the smaller companies are doing, particularly in the healthcare and government sector, where it's not easy to bring things together for multiple reasons, including, regulatory and legislative reasons.
Oh, there's some great users of technology out there and some really innovative approaches to solving current problems. It wasn't just yes, I've done something, look at that. It was really, wow, that's actually quite interesting. I wonder how that worked, and it actually really produced an outcome that you can see in the market or that you can actually go and look at live.
You need to be bringing continually innovative technology into play with your clients. Otherwise, 12 months after you've signed the contract, they're starting to fall behind. But at the same time, you have to be able to implement it successfully. There's no point saying the technology is working as it's intended if it shuts down the ultimate user's business. So one of the things I've been really pleased to look at as we're judging is getting that balance between both the technology and the successful business outcomes through good, sound implementation. That's again just outstanding, seeing companies who are doing both well.
Digital transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final award for the evening. The 5 finalists are Bulletproof, which implemented a data lake architecture on Amazon Web Services for the Department of Land, Environment, Water and Planning. Mexia, which delivered on Bendigo Health's vision of a digital hospital using Microsoft Azure. Dias Computing, which built a next-generation data processing platform on Amazon Web Services for leading accounting software vendor Myob. Versent, which transformed Service New South Wales by unlocking the full power of APIs with help from CA Technologies and Ping. And Vibrato, who built a big data and analytics platform on AWS for one of the largest energy companies in the country, City Power and Powercore.